And that's why we're getting such big crowds, because of just the special feeling everybody gets from the inclusion of all our students.
Walking through the hallways and having all students be a part of our community.
To me, it means that they're trying to bring everyone together and to give more opportunities to kids.
Their whole mission is promoting inclusion throughout the school and in every aspect, whether that's sports or just as a school in general.
The idea for unified basketball, I can take no credit for any of it. When I was an assistant principal at Northville High School, the Northville 8 athletic director, a guy by the name of Brian Macy, fantastic AD, and his counterpart at Novi, Brian Gordon, who, the athletic director at Novi, is a Clawson alum, and his wife is Mrs. Gordon, who's a middle school teacher. Both fantastic ADs, and they were paramount in starting unified basketball in the KLAA conference out west of here. And I was fortunate to be a part of that program at Northville and saw the impact that it had on our school there. And it continues to go strong. So when I came here a year and a half ago when I started, we developed our Trojan Leadership Council. And from that, the unified idea was born.
So the 5 or 6 of us, we meet and we plan events that we put together for our students with special needs after school. So we do activities like we will theme it. We had a Christmas themed one and we decorated cookies this year. We had a karaoke that some kids sang Christmas karaoke to. And we just do fun activities with them that they can do after school.
Well, it kind of started last year. We had started our Trojan Helping Hands events. We basically get together with everyone in the Trojan Leadership Council and have events between special education students and students in TLC. And then this year, Mr. Shell really wanted to start the unified basketball program. And so a few of us volunteered to kind of step up and be a part of the team. And it's been a lot of fun.
It's something that I brought to the Macomb Area Conference Athletic Directors at the beginning of the year. We saw it happening in the KLAA. Obviously, Mr. Shell brought that over from Northville too. And so when he said, hey, why don't we have a unified team here? I told him that we were trying to get something together in the past couple of years. We had some ideas, but we just didn't have the leadership group of students to do it. And so when we created the Trojan Leadership Council, it was a perfect opportunity for those kids to take that on. And the coolest part about the whole thing, I think, was those leadership kids just taking it and rolling with it.
Billy has gotten our Trojan Leadership Council involved doing that. So a lot of the leaders of the school are the ones that are participating as our partners for our athletes, and they're doing a great job being open, accommodating, patient, helping to teach basketball to our athletes. And so they're here at practice during seminar, they're here at every game. We like to do a partner system where they're partnering up, showing our athletes where to go, where to be on the court, where to sit, all that kind of stuff. So they're really showing maturity beyond their years in their role with us right now on the team.
They could essentially coach themselves. They know how to interact with these kids. A lot of them are Link students. They work with these kids in different settings anyway. They have relationships with the students, and then they have relationships with the students' parents too. So they all know each other very well. And they're all just kind-hearted kids who just want to make a difference and make someone's day.
A year ago, our special ed population, this group of young men and women at Clawson High School, would come to school, leave school, and really had nothing extracurricularly tying them to our school and our culture. Whereas our gen ed students had football and basketball and baseball and choir and drama and band and great opportunities that tie them to our school culture extracurricularly. That's where we felt there was a gap. And by filling that gap through Special Olympics and unified sports, now all of a sudden they have a tie to our school community more.
I want you to partner up, stand next to your partner. One partnership there, one partnership there, one partnership there, partnership. Grew up loving basketball, huge basketball fan. Played through middle school, got to high school. unfortunately seemed like I had a better career option in swimming because I was about 5'6" at the time. So got into that and did that through high school and college. Kept playing basketball though, and had the opportunity last year to start as an assistant coach with the girls team, and been doing that the last 2 years as well, and kind of getting that opportunity now to get more and more involved in basketball. So I'm a school social worker, so I have kids on my caseload at the middle school, and then all levels for our ASD program, so elementary, middle, and high school. So I'm kind of in every building, Shawm, middle school, high school, yeah, so I get to see a lot of the district doing that.
Mr. Shell approached me and Mr. Stetson last year and asked if we'd be willing to kind of help out with the team and coach a little bit, and I was all about it. Ken is a fantastic coach, and so to kind of sit there and learn from him a little bit about how to interact with the kids, and you know, I played basketball growing up, so I know how to be a recipient of, you know, what is being coached, but learning how to coach students, that was cool too. So I learned a lot from Ken as well.
When the Unified program was started and the letter or email was sent home, as a parent, what was your first thought?
Excited.
Yeah.
Excited. You know, an opportunity to represent her school in a sport. I think all kids like that. You know, bragging rights of getting out on the court just like their peers do. And sometimes we don't know our kids want that as much as they do.
I was very excited because it would give them the opportunity to play a sport in their high school.
Travis he's a very slow poke of a guy. He's got one speed and it's slow. He coasts from basket to basket. So I was a little worried that he wouldn't participate as much as the other kids would. So I was very nervous, but once he started in and the kids started getting him to go and talking to him and encouraging him, you know, telling him to dribble and come on, let's go down the other end, he just started working really well. I think this experience was better. He does top soccer, so he does soccer, but he is with his peers with this unified basketball team. So I think he enjoyed this very, very much more because he was with all his fellow students. and then everyone cheering for him in the crowd, and he was just, every time he wanted to come here. I didn't have to make him come, he wanted to come. He enjoyed it.
It is important to be able to interact with other, with the general ed students, because like my sons, they are in some general ed classes, so it's important to be able to feel comfortable around other general ed students. As far as the peer students, the very first game, Joe was really nervous because it was something new and it was different, and there were a lot of people in the stands, and he really didn't want to even go out on the court. And one of the peer students, it was Nate, came over and tried to get him to shoot and warm up, and he wouldn't have anything to do with it at first, but then this was the part that I thought was so cool, is he, down on the other end of the court where there was nobody, he said, let's go down there, it's not as busy. And Joe got right up and went with them down to the other court, and they were shooting around. So, I mean, as a mom, it was pretty cool to see, so.
Yeah, she had been asking for the last couple years, where's Callan's basketball? And you know, there's only so many opportunities for special needs sports or for supported sports, and that was one I could not find. So this was super exciting that we would find it again in an element where she'd be with her beloved schoolmates, because Callan is the biggest Clawson High School cheerleader there is. She loves this place. I mean, like, you're excited for watch your child to cheerlead, but it's different when it's a sport, because, you know, again, you know, we're willing those baskets to go in the hoop for all the kids, but it's the difference of that excitement, I think, that there is for the culmination of a game and scores and, you know, shooting and playing in front of such a big, robust community of people watching.
Each general ed student had a different part to play with, I think, all the students, the special ed students. Some were more encouraging than others, some were more calming than others, and it was just, I don't know, it was a well-oiled machine, Clawson was. It just clicked, it worked.
I say the biggest way it's affected me is realizing what's really important and why we play sports in the first place, and it's to make yourself happy. And watching these kids who don't normally get this opportunity be so happy when they do something as simple as make a basket, even if they're losing by 10 points, really makes me realize the bigger picture.
I think that it was nice to see them do something inclusive. You know, my kids have always, you know, since Kenwood, have played with Travis, have known Travis, Dane, both Nick and Joe Pancos. So it was nice to see them be able to engage with them again in high school. There were lots of Facebook posts and stuff where I would see, like, Travis's mom put these posts, and she was posting, like, I'm gonna get teary-eyed just saying, like, posting like thanks and stuff to my kids and stuff for doing it, and just, you know, thank you for raising such a great kid. And I don't think that they really got, like, how important it was for us. It was an awesome experience for me to see my kid, what my kid was getting from it. My kid wasn't just giving back. My kid was Renata especially gained a lot from that. She gained a lot of enjoyment. Just to see that joy on her face. She was just as happy as Travis and everybody else was being able to play that sport.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. If they're playing tight defense, though, don't forget to keep dribbling. Okay. Don't run with the ball in your hands like this, and you can pass it to a teammate if you get stuck. All right. Anybody else got any thoughts on the first half? No. You guys look good out there. Cody scored like 6 straight points, right?
Being able to do the announcing at the scores table for any sport is enjoyable, especially walking these halls, seeing these kids and the reactions. But this unified basketball program, you know, sometimes when the excitement of a normal game of a basket is you kind of have to make it up. But this unified basketball, you get choked up sometimes because you know the kids walking through. And it just brings something a little extra special to every time you say something or say some kid's name when they hear their name or the way they react or celebrate after a basket or a good rebound. Even to see the face and the gen ed kids helping out, they are enjoying every second of it, and it rubs off on the crowd. And the excitement with the crowd, seeing everybody's excitement is pretty special.
I guess just the way the crowd cheered and how many people. I mean, I knew the first game would be there would be a lot of people, but I wasn't sure how the other games would be after that, and there was always so many people.
On game day in the hallways even, just walking down the hallways, I had kids coming up to me saying, I'm so excited to go watch Amber shoot, or Brett make a three, or Joe dribble down the court. So, and those are the gen ed students that we're having conversations now about our unified kids playing at 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever it is. So it changes the atmosphere in the hallways. It's pretty amazing to watch it happen because all students are important at Clawson High School, and it's glaring now. It's glaring, which is a good thing.
And the crowds, we were shocked. We were absolutely floored. Again, we had some family come to a couple games, but to see the families pack the stands of kids that are in basketball and kids that aren't, and people who said it just made them feel so good to watch these games.
An amazing experience. The first game the first home game, I think I was in tears the entire time, I was trying to take pictures of everything, and just to see how much support. We really could have filled both sides of the stands if we would have been able to pull the other side out. And that's just one thing I love about this whole city, is that the community comes together for everything, and to see them all show up. And it was midday. People leave work to be at that game and to support the whole. To see all of the teachers show up, everything. That was a wonderful experience.
And they just feel like they have support from everyone, and it's an awesome atmosphere. There's so much cheering after every basket, not just when we score, and it hypes them up and it gets them so excited. On game days when everyone's in their white t-shirts, they can just tell that everyone supports what they're doing, and it really makes them feel important because it's directed towards their team, and it's all about them, and they just love it.
I think it goes beyond just being a tight-knit community. I think that people genuinely care about their peers, and the parents genuinely care about their kids' peers too. So I think everyone is just wanting to be involved with it, wanting to support any kid who has any desire to play a sport. And as far as basketball goes, it provided the perfect avenue to have that gym set up the way that it was, to have, different people providing balloons and flowers, and basically being sponsored. It was fantastic.
I mean, the energy that the crowds are bringing. I mean, you see it with our athletes and their reactions after they score. I mean, they're running on the court, they're putting their hands up, they're shaking their behind, all that kind of stuff. I mean, really, I mean, the crowd is what makes it that much more special. And so we've loved having the turnouts we've had. We appreciate the Clawson community and everyone being a part of that. It's unlike any crowd that you would see in any other game. They're cheering for both teams. Giving support for good plays, for plays when it gets dribbled off the foot out of bounds, for everything. I mean, the positivity is unmatched. So.
I'll say this, last week one of our students who, during practice, one of our unified players during practice over the course of the fall really didn't participate much, just kind of stood on the sidelines. Well, we finally got him on the floor and got him shooting. And closer and closer, and now he started making baskets. And last week in our first game, he took a shot and missed it. Got the rebound back to him. Took a second shot, missed it. Got the rebound back to him. Took a third one and a fourth one and missed it. And people were celebrating it. And finally on the fifth one, he made it. And I looked over at our bench. And one of our seniors crying, and we're not looking to make people cry. That's right. But that's all you need to see. That's all you need to know. It tells the story. No words, just emotions, and it goes beyond the players on the floor. And when you have a packed gym and it's noisy and the cheering and it's like nothing I've ever been a part of, truly. And that story says it all. That story says it all. So it's really heartwarming and changes a lot of perspectives for sure.
My favorite part of the season just was after those students scored, the whole crowd, parents from the other side, parents from our side, students from the other side, players from the other side, other team. It wasn't who was winning, who was losing. It wasn't who was scoring, who wasn't scoring. It was fabulous. That's what it was all about.
I would say, like, as a parent, one of the things we were the most excited about was to see her on the bench, on the lineup. But to see her on the bench when someone else scored, that she would jump right up and be cheering for them and clapping for her teammates. So sometimes that's a concept that we don't always see. They're in it for themselves and their enjoyment. But this time, I mean, we really saw where she was part of a team.
Now that it's wrapped up and looking back at it, obviously all the moments, like kids scoring their first baskets in games, playing in front of big crowds at school. But we started practice back in September, and the coolest part was kind of watching everybody come out of their shell. And by the end of the year, there wasn't really trying to break down any barriers in communication between everyone. It was a pretty open line of communication between everyone. Everyone was friends, and it was just so easy to talk to anyone you wanted to on the team.
So Brett and Callan and Amber, they are all kind of like my three partners. And I used to talk to Callan a lot, but I never really knew Brett and Amber. But now it's nice because like in the hallway, Amber will always come up to me and we talk more, and it's with Brett, we have our own little handshake and stuff. And it's just nice because now I have more of a relationship with them, and they think of me as friends, and we have a good relationship now.
My favorite part of the whole entire season is being on the court with them specifically, and then whenever they make a basket and looking at their parents' reactions and seeing how happy they are that they're on the court.
Besides watching them and having a great time down in the gym, getting away from my desk, seeing the students the next day and being able to talk to them about their experience on the court, seeing their smiles, talking about getting a basket, and the people cheering for them is probably the best thing.
Probably my favorite game was the Royal Oak game because it was parents' night, and as a parent of special needs kid, you're not like any other sport parent because you don't really think you're ever going to be able to do any of that stuff. So being able to go through that with them was really special. And then Nick made a three-pointer that game, so.
It speaks volumes to Mr. Shell and his vision for the district and the city. it was huge. I could not be more happy with this program.
Favorite moment of this season, I think, was, well, when Amber went between the legs first time. That blew my mind. That was sick. But then Travis Goujian hitting threes. There's so many moments.
Way to step up.